This woman gets quite really, really close to me. Then she looked down at my summit suit, and I've got my children's names on my summit suit. And she looked at me and she said, Emily, Oakley, Shyla, Gabriel, Perseus and Bly will be extremely proud of you. Just remember thinking to myself, she doesn't know that I've been using my children to get up this mountain. She had not one clue. Someone's looking down on me. Dead body there. Okay. K2 is the second highest mountain in the world. It sits at 8,611 meters. It's the most dangerous mountain in the world. It's known as the Savage Mountain or the Widowmaker. It's a mountain a bit like the Special Forces. That cloak of secrecy is wrapped in it because not many people climb it. Not many people have succeeded. Not many people have lived to tell the tale. It's a mountain that is not accessible from season to season due to the elements and the conditions. And also with altitude, the lack of oxygen, the lack of clarity starts to kick in. You make one mistake, you unclip at the wrong time, you slip at the wrong time, you're not going to make it off the mountain. Because it's the most dangerous. If you climb K2, you are solidified as a mountaineer. You can proudly say that you climb mountains. I was sat there and my phone rang and I answered the phone. It's a good friend of mine, Nims, is a very known mountaineer. I said, what do you want? And he said, I want you to climb. I said, I know you do. I said, what mountain do you want me to climb? He said, K2. And I just remember thinking back, like, this is a mountain that I need to pass by the family, especially my wife Emily, and get the okay. When my wife came back, he said, what have you been up to? I said, nothing much. I said, just been answering a few phone calls, and I said, I'm climbing K2 in 3 weeks' time. I can just remember her looking at me, and the words that left her mouth were, did you not learn from Mount Everest? And then after that, I sort of looked at her, shrugged my shoulders, and she said, go and do what you need to do. And I can just remember seeing Emily's eyes as if to say, you better fucking come home. Do not let us down. So do this for the children and do this for your wife. And I can remember thinking, I've never thought like that before. I've always gone out the door, completely cut myself off to my children and my wife, because that's a huge distraction. But this time it was different. It's almost a different emotional feeling. They were my sponsors. They were my commission. They were my cause, my reason. It was just a case of, let's do this together. I'm going to use you to get up and down as quick as possible and get back to where I belong. Here we are, Skardu.
Skardu, yes.
This is the start. So from Islamabad to Skardu, this is where K2 starts for us. When I got to Skardu, where everything gets real, I was met by my Sherpa, David Migma.
One of the big men and one of the small men is here.
And I'd climbed with him before, so I was just happy to see his face and knowing that I had David by my side, who is the youngest to ever climb the 14 8,000 meter peaks. I knew I was in extremely good hands, and when you can rely on each other like that, I like to think that he knew he was in good hands as well.
I don't believe him.
Yeah.
I don't believe him. He only has one gear and it's fast.
I follow him, you follow you.
We just went as the crow flies, and probably one of the most brutal treks that I've done, because it's hard on foot. I'm crossing this. God. Cold. Whoa. My first view of the Savage Mountain, that is K2. Wow. When I look at it, Migma, it's emotional.
Yeah.
Because we know we're going to go there.
Yeah, it's big.
And through the blood, sweat and tears.
Yeah.
Yes! Oh,
Boom.
brother. Base camp. K2 base camp. We're here. 4-day slog, but we're here. Here we are. This is my home for the next couple of weeks. Base camp is like a huge village. It's like a big community. Everyone has their own individual sort of expeditions, but ultimately we all come together as a climbing community, and we get on. So we've just had our purger, which grants us safe passage onto the mountains here. I put a couple of things down. My crampons, because they're going to be on my feet all the time. My ice axe, and also my helmet, covering me from head to toe, protecting me from head to toe. Also a few family heirlooms, a teddy bear for my younger children. All of those were put there to be blessed.
Yes, my brother, right here we are on the K2 base camp, and so you know what, excitement, proud, everything, brother.
Listen, what a setup. I've known Nims for 15 years, and to see how far he's come, just pure pride. Listen, we've served together in the Special Forces, and we're serving together now on the mountains. I love it. Listen, cheers, Nims.
Cheers, my brother.
Love you loads. And now, it's time to party SF style.
Yeah. Now, camera off, guys, camera off.
Hey, look up! Hey!
I don't really fear death. When I look at it, I've seen and been exposed to it so many times. Yeah, I look at it in a different way. I've dealt with it all through my life, from the age of 5, my father passed away, to losing comrades in the military, to losing friends on the mountain. Everyone can relate to that. Then the more you're exposed to something, the more you learn how to harness it. And when I've got my own life in my own hands, that's the ultimate responsibility. And that is why I climb. It's the closest thing to being completely free out there than anything else. I woke up, had some breakfast, and then started planning for my first rotation. And that's what you have to do as a mountaineer. You have to do rotations to get used to the lack of oxygen that the body is going to take in. At base camp, probably at 75, 77%, and then the higher you go, the oxygen levels get smaller and smaller. You don't want to be pushing it too far or too high too fast, because that's when HAPE kicks in. That's when you start to have altitude sickness, and that's when things can go downhill very quickly. That's why we go from base camp, we stay there for a few days, to camp 1. Get to camp 1, and then we rest there overnight. And then once the body's clicked into that, you go to camp 2. And again, you spend the night there, and you're allowed the body to acclimatise at that altitude. And then normally you'd come back down. The reason why you come back down to 5,000 meters, because at this stage the body is functioning a lot better. You start to eat, you start to drink a lot more.
Here we are on our first rotation, just taking it nice and steady and acclimatising along the way. Just made our way through the ice fields there, all the way from base camp. Make our way up there to the crampon point.
On the way to camp 1, we were hit by a storm. Now I just thought at the lower camps, going to camp 1, it's fine. I spoke to my Sherpa, didn't really have any problems with it. I thought, you know what, we're at the lower camps, if you want to, we can turn back round and go back down. Let's just attack.
Yep, winds are high here at Camp 1. It's just over 6,000 metres here. It was a tough slog yesterday. 8.5 hours, pure, unforgiving terrain. You just have to dig your crampons in. View of what. So we decided to move from Camp 1, which is down there. We saw a weather window and thought we'd take it, but it hasn't seemed to improve. But we're on the move now, so we'll just keep on moving. My big miss sorting the ropes out. Find it hard to breathe, to be fair, but why do I want to do things like this? I don't know. I could get home with my wife and kids, but no, instead I'm on K2.
Here was just like, it was just a dusty storm. The winds were picking up, and it was my Sherpa that actually told me the weather's going to get worse. And this is one thing that I realised why K2 was so dangerous. Because it didn't matter if you're at base camp, camp 1, if the weather came in and you were stuck on that mountain, the likelihood of coming off was slim to none.
These last climbs to camp 2, the weather's come in. It's pretty bad, as you can see. Draining. Every footstep is draining. Steep.
And I said to my Sherpa, I said, how far is it to go down? We need to turn around. Now, I've never said that in my life. He said, no matter what, you're going to be exposed to this storm. He said, it's quicker to go to Camp 2. He said, but we're a good 4 or 5 hours away. Once he told me that, I can just remember thinking to myself, right, your wife has allowed you to climb, your children have allowed you to climb. So I get in behind this bit of rock, I clip myself on because I'm literally looking into the abyss. I've got to do it for them. I've got to stay alive. I've got to get to Camp 2 for them. It was literally that serious. No one on the mountain. I looked to my Sherpa and he's starting to go, Ant, we need to move.
Wish us luck.
All of a sudden we sort of come over false summit. We got to Camp 2 and I thought, right, just get our tents up, we'll be good to go. It wasn't. We were there for a couple of hours. Again, digging, using our hands. We were the only people on the mountain.
Just reached Camp 2. And the winds out there are 45 to 50 kilometers an hour. I would say more. I don't really want to open my tent. We're the only ones at Camp 2. Probably been one of the hardest days.
When we jumped in the tent, we found a lot of oxygen bottles that were stashed. So we brought the oxygen bottles in, we stacked it all around the tent, so the tent hopefully didn't get blown away. And then just, that's all I heard, was just the tent for hours and hours, and I thought just try and get some sleep.
Fucking hell.
But the storm's getting worse and worse and worse. The whole tent just collapsed in on me.
The tent just woke me up. The tent just collapsed here. It hit me on the head. And as you can see, yeah, fighting against it. Doing everything we can to keep this tent a tent.
Just thinking to myself, what are you doing? Why are you stuck at Camp 2 with a Sherpa on the most dangerous mountain in the world with your 4 children and your wife sat at home?
That's how my mind feels at the moment. Thinking, why the fuck do I do this? That's a replication of my mind right now.
Just thinking I'm such a selfish man at this stage, and all sorts of things are running through my head. You know, you've done too much, you've taken too much off here. You know, you've taken a big chunk off. You can't manage this. You're not gonna come off this mountain.
Fuck me.
On the 3rd day, I had a bowl of coffee and we managed to get some hot water on through the snow. And I remember looking at my Sherpa and I said to him, we're going to have to make a move today. And I remember him looking at me and he said, as soon as we get a window, we're going to move. Upon that, we both sort of took a sip of our coffee and then the tent just fell silent. That was the sign. And I looked at him and he looked at me and I ditched my coffee in the snow. I went, let's move.
So we've decided to make our way down here from Camp 2 to Camp 1. We had a little bit of a weather window, just come down that. You can see with poor visibility, you have to navigate. If he drops off there or there, he's gone. You can see safety is absolutely imperative here. Over to me. Ooh. I'm happy to hear that you're good. There you have it. This is Camp 1, so you can imagine what it was like at Camp 2 the past 2 nights.
I remember getting back down from Camp 2 on my first rotation, and I wanted to cut my feet off with my ice axe, just take my boots off and walk barefoot over the glacier. That's how much I wasn't thinking, that's how much pain I was in, and that's where my whole world just turned upside down. A whole world of pain just sort of went from the physical to the psychological and then to the emotional. I could see the weight that I was losing. I could see it in my face. I could see it in the way that I carried myself, and I expected that. It's a dark headspace to be in. It really is, and it takes, digging deep into your soul to get out of it.
Small break.
I commit to everything. There's not much that doesn't faze me in life. There's not much I won't commit to. Almost had an out-of-body experience to the point where it's just like, right, listen, the spiritual God is telling me now, go back to your family. And my decision was made. Got in, packed my bags. Done. And then I wake up, I look at the bags, and in my sleeping bag, I've got a teddy, which my son gave me. It's a little king. So guess what? I'm going to take this king to the summit. And it was literally a decision that I made on the spot. Just sort your head out. You're staying.
So this is the morning after my first rotation, getting down back to base camp. Looks like I made it just in time before I was stuck up there. Oh, that was lucky that we made that decision at Camp 2.
Wanted to hit Camp 3, I only hit Camp 2, which was 6,000 metres. So now I've got to go above 8,000 metres for my summit rotation because I haven't got time to do a second rotation. So I think to myself, right, I've got my work cut out here. Right, and I remember sitting down with Nims, who was running the expedition. I've been with Nims for the last 15, 16 years in the military, all the way through the military, into the mountaineering world. He knows what I'm capable of. I'm like, what do you want me to do? So I want you to leave base camp the next day, go straight to Camp 2. Then from Camp 2 to Camp 3, have a night at Camp 3. He said, and I want you to do the summit rotation from Camp 3, bypass Camp 4, hit the summit, come back down to Camp 3, and then back down. And I'm thinking to myself, just had the worst rotation in the world. And then he wants me to summit from Camp 3, bypass Camp 4. That means I'm going to have to leave early afternoon, all through the afternoon, all through the night, all through the morning to get to the summit, and then come. You're looking at a 24-hour day there and more. And I just kept remembering children, wife, children, wife. I'm going to use each and every one of those children on this climb with me.
K2 base camp today, myself and Nims are going to be trekking off towards a memorial which is up there on this little peak here, just in the shadows at the moment. It's somewhere where we're going to pay our respects.
As well, today the weather is good, right? We can see the weather is good today. Scrambling, brother. Going for a reggae. going here. John Snorri, another climber. He passed away in K2 winter as well.
Last year as well.
Last
So
year
these
as
two
well.
last year.
These two, yeah.
So you were here and they
Yeah.
were climbing with you?
Yeah, they were here to make the first winter ascent as well.
It's humbling, isn't it?
It's just
The hair standing up on your skin.
K2 has taken so many lives, brother, so many lives.
There's one round the corner. Pablo, 2021 photos, 3 children, a wife. And it just makes me think, should I be doing this?
How do you rest in peace, my brother? Size 9.
Yeah.
So
20 past midnight. We aim to head off at 1 o'clock for our summit rotation. So straight from base camp to camp 2. A hard day's work today. Here we are at the crampon point. Heading up to camp 1. You can see a couple of lights up there.
Put my crampons on at the crampon point and I look down and I've got my son, Bly, who's 7 years old. I look at him and I go, come on, son. I said, let's do this. He was with me for that part of the climb. I've broken it down with my children. That changed my whole climb. It changed my whole perspective. The first half is like just turn back around, turn back around, turn back around. And I can just remember looking down and going, we're nearly there, son. And sort of almost being distracted by looking after someone that wasn't there, but emotionally was.
It's very, very busy. Look up there. Extremely busy up there.
It's not like hiking where you can just go along, kick a few things around and enjoy the view. It's like you've got so much going on with yourself, especially on K2. Crampons on, harness on, clipping, all the ropes good to go. You've got your own rope, you've got your belay devices, you've got your figure of 8s. You're going from that hiker to climber, and then all through the camps until you hit the death zone, you're staying in that same mindset, just making sure you observe everything that you do. And that's why the climbing is so exhausting. The physical side of it, you sort of just know you're gonna slowly perish and diminish, but it's the psychological side and the emotional side, the trigger for these decisions that you've got to get right. K2 base camp to camp 2, that was the first part. Second part is camp 2 to camp 3. I wake up and I've got my daughter next to me and I'll get her up, and she's 8 years old, Perseus. And I look at her and she's like me, she's like an energetic little bunny, and I almost can envision her jumping up and down. Let's go, Dad, let's go, Dad.
So I've just woken up not long ago, probably about half an hour ago at 6 o'clock in the morning. K2, camp 2. So got a nice little ring to it this morning. If you look closely enough down the glacier, down the valley, you can see K2 base camp. So we're going to be making our way to camp 3 in approximately an hour.
You'll only truly know if the Sherpa is good when you're climbing with that Sherpa. Because I know what I'm doing and I'm very capable on the mountains, I know what I'm looking for. I can see just by the way he hikes, he climbs, he clips in, he uses his equipment, if he's a good Sherpa or not. You can tell that within the first 10, 15 minutes of being with someone. And with this expedition that I was with, they're all highly trained. I trusted immensely in every single one of them.
Long slog again. A few more hours, just done the Black Pyramid. That's challenging. The chimney was quite satisfying, but the Black Pyramid, which had just come up, was a lung buster, shall we say. 10-15 minutes, water, food, and then all the way up to Camp 3. A few people are resting here.
And then you'd be back on the snow, and then all of a sudden you're ice climbing, blue ice in front of you. You're digging your crampons. The most technical of the 8,000ers.
So far from advanced base camp to Camp 3, it's been like this. More or less rock climbing, ice climbing. Whoa, it's just unforgiving. It's just not letting up. There's no flat bits, just to stretch your legs. It's all Jumar work. And all leg work.
Camp 2's Camp 3, long. I can remember it being long. And thinking to myself, again, just being distracted by my daughter. It's almost, feeling like that she needed me, that as a protector, a saviour. But she almost enjoyed the journey. So the different emotions were coming out.
Walk, fuck. Jesus Christ. Oh. Wow. And that's what I mean by dodging rocks. They're like little bullets. If that's to hit you, that would just make a nasty hole in your body. Wow, that was a close call. Okay. We're just above 7,000 meters. Yay! The weather's coming in a little bit now. I can be back at home with my wife and kids. I love them so much, but they push me. Mercedes' day, she's with me, so every time I think, why am I doing this? And I say, come on PP, not far to go now, darling. We're nearly there, PP, we're nearly there. Camp 3 in 2 days. Never again. What a slog again. It's 5 o'clock. We're here now though, so we can rest, have a good night's sleep, get ready for the summit rotation.
When I take that first breath and I wake up, I have a process that I go through of being grateful that I'm breathing. I'm just like, and I always go and look for something positive, something that would just give me a positive seed to grow, because a lot of people wake up and the negative seed is in their head and it naturally grows. Where I look at my children who are sleeping, that's That's a positive seed in my head, and I just put that in my head and it grows.
Right, we're now setting off for our summit rotation. It's about 7 o'clock at night, and now we're going to push through all the way to the summit and hopefully hit the summit mid-morning, early to mid-morning. This is it. Let's hit that summit.
This is it now. We've got to push through, and we're going to hit the most dangerous part of the climb very soon. Not only are you hitting the death zone, but you're hitting the bottleneck. It is blue ice. It's a huge glacier, huge, and you have to sort of navigate your way around it, through it, and up, and then the climb. Then you're on the rope, on your Jumar, crampons in blue ice, you're climbing. You're looking behind me, and my son's there. He's not there, but he's there. I'm not thinking about the task ahead. I'm thinking about my son. I'm thinking about his safety. I'm thinking about the motivation that I'm getting from him. But I'm finding myself viciously digging in, which you shouldn't do, because you're just going to shatter the ice. And then I look to my son, and he's like, "That, calm down, Dad, calm down." And that's exactly what I needed to do. I needed to calm down.
The sun's just coming out now. Oh. So many people on this mountain.
Before I knew it, I was at the top of the bottleneck, just about to bypass Camp 4. And I can just remember thinking to myself, right, this is it. Death zone now. When you hit that death zone, you get up there and back down as quick as possible. Do not mess around. Let's go. So you're almost going to go through a ceiling, shall we say, where you penetrate through to 8,000 meters, and when there's only 30% oxygen in the air. So you've got only a certain amount of time to get to the summit and back down. And I can remember going past one climber. He was really slow. I just thought to myself, he's never going to make it to the summit. You know, this is too much for him. And I can remember he just looking up as well and just sort of giving us a nod as if to say, no, we've got this, you know, just crack on.
Dead body there, just on the lines. So you can see his boots and everything, and the mountains behind. Poor guy.
And it was the guy that I went past that I happened to give a quick nod to, but he was dead. You've become part of the mountain. You know, if I was to go in combat, then I would have died, you know, doing what I love doing. And it's the same with mountaineering. You know, I'd want to be left on the mountain. So this woman gets really close to me. So I'm on my way up. She's coming down. She gets down on one knee and she looks at me. Then she looked down at my summit suit, and I've got my children's names on my summit suit. And she said, Emily, Oakley, Shyla, Gabriel, Perseus and Bly will be extremely proud of you. I just remember thinking to myself, She doesn't know that I've been using my children to get up this mountain. She had not one clue. She didn't need to stop to say that to me. She'd already summited. It's almost as if she knew my pain and the emotion that I was going through. And I just go down on both knees and I just start, I have this emotional dump where I'm just completely gone. I start crying. I have to lift my goggles up. There's got to be something up there. There's got to be someone up there looking down on me. Whether it's my dad, or I don't know who, but someone's looking down on me. From that moment onwards, just free sailing.
Yeah, just hit the summit. And that was emotional. Family got me through that. Proud to have made it to the summit of K2.
I looked over and Nims was there. I can remember 3 or 4 days ago saying, "Well, I see you on top." That was almost, sort of the next part of the mission. It wasn't until he came over and he congratulated me, and then his words were like, "Ant, you've absolutely smashed this." And it was a nice moment between friends. And just remember, it was a perfect day. We're here, I saw the beauty of the Pakistan mountains. Everything that I thought was against me, that was trying to kill me, it wasn't. It was just there for me to enjoy. And I just needed to fight through a few demons to get there. And I just stood there and I got my son's king out. And I could just remember just standing there, just looking at it, thinking to myself, wow, you've done it. I saw every single one of my children. Just there, bang, 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 bang. My wife was stood there. Just they were there with me.
So I've been here with Ramesh. Hey! And hit top of K2. And as you can see, we are literally on top of K2 with Petit Hoa.
When I was at the summit, I made one phone call to my wife and I made it short and sweet.
Hello, my love. Sorry to wake you up so early in the morning, but just to let you know I'm standing on top of K2. Tough to let the babies know that Daddy's safe, well, on top, but I'm just going to make my way down now. So I'll give you a call once I'm back down as well. But standing on top of the K2 with the team, that was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. But I miss you all so much. Okay, and I'll give you a call when I'm back down. Yeah, no, I'm fine. Alright then. Okay, I love you. Bye bye. Let's go, sir. Let's go. Okay. That's me. Touchdown at Camp 3 from the summit. Looks like I've aged 20 years. So from base camp to the summit, 19 days. Yeah, the third I arrived at base camp. And I touched the summit on Friday the 22nd of August 2022. I don't know why I do it to myself. So So, yeah, an emotional roller coaster for sure. But I just want to get back to the family now. Anyway, let's take this tan. Look, something like to clear this up. Get some food down my neck, some drink, and then some rest, and then base camp tomorrow.
When you do climbs such as K2, Mount Everest, it's almost as if there's a different world up there as well. It's a funny thing to explain because you go through so many emotions, so many frequencies, vibes and vibrations and everything up there, that you figure out what it is and where it belongs within you because it's exposed whether you like it or not. Unless you put yourself in that situation, the spiritual realm is definitely out there. It's something that can be accessed quite easily. You just have to be willing to put yourself in those situations. When and if I do decide to take on Kanchenjunga, that I can use that spiritual experience that I've gained from Everest and K2 and use it above the clouds on the third highest mountain in the world. So don't be surprised if you see me sat here again talking about Kanchenjunga, the third highest mountain in the world.